Good afternoon, this is Jeff with Sewer Tech Northwest. We're at 12241 Mimosa Way. Sorry, I about left one of the numbers off. 12241 Mimosa Way here in Oregon City. Located at the front of the house. I describe everything as if you're standing in the street facing the front of the home. We are to the left of the front doorway, and the cleanout sits in front. If you go to the very furthest foundation vent to the left of the front door, cleanout sits right in front of it. 3-inch ABS cleanout. Also about 4 feet in from the front right corner of the house. Looks like we got some hot water going here. We'll get that cleared out. We'll get a nicer image as we come back in. Anyhow, we're checking the overall condition and serviceability of the sanitary sewer line. Water is running. I zeroed out there at the base of the clean out, and off we go here. Transitioning here to 4-inch 3034 PVC pipe. A little bit of grease buildup at the flow line. Right now my camera's kind of upside down, sideways. That's where the water line's where it's at. Oh, I may recommend some cleaning on the line if we have a continuous layer. So, and I'm a big stickler on grease buildup. You can see that big chunk of stuff I just peeled off the flow line. It's not just pure grease. In fact, that's a really good example of why you want to avoid grease going down the line. What you end up with are paper products and other debris getting stuck to it, mostly paper product related. Especially problematic if things like wipes and whatnot go down the line, stuff that does not disintegrate on its own. But even regular old toilet paper, once it gets stuck to it, it gets impregnated with grease, and that toilet paper that generally disintegrates now becomes essentially waterproof, and it doesn't disintegrate properly. So anyway, when you have grease buildup in your line, it makes your line quite a bit more prone to buildup and blockages related to it. And blockages that do occur in greased up pipes are less likely to break loose on their own naturally because the stuff acts like glue. So anyway, after 25,000 sewer scopes that I've done, I actually get more concerned about grease buildup than I do a lot of structural issues. Grease is often a main culprit and contributing factor to blockages that occur. It can often be the thing that exacerbates, a relatively minor structural issue, or even, semi-significant problem into something that can actually cause an issue. So anyway, once I see a continuous layer of it throughout a line, sometimes the camera will do a good job scraping it loose, so we'll see how it looks coming back in, but I may recommend some cleaning on the line. Other than that, so far, line's looking pretty good, but we'll get a much better view here in a second. Alright, it located the camera head successfully. Line terminates out of Mimosa Way. That's the kind of a general route the line takes. Line pops out of the house, the front of the home, near the front left corner, then jaunts toward the driveway, but the line turns and straightens out before getting underneath the driveway. If you stand on the road and face the front of the house, just to the left of the driveway, you'll see just a little tiny rectangle spot there with some gravel in it. The line just about shoots directly underneath that, if not directly underneath it. Just straight out from that spot there, approximately, is where I'm locating the connection to the main. We'll see how good of a job here the camera did scraping the grease loose. But that kind of tan brownish stuff you see there, top of the screen and the flow line, that is some grease buildup. It's a combo of grease and paper products. Now, your average home out there, especially with these newer style low flow toilets, it's pretty uncommon that when you flush the toilet, do solids actually make it from point A to point B in one toilet flush. It's very common that debris stops up partway down line. So that hence the importance of not having grease buildup. When that debris comes to a stop, you don't want it stopping up in grease. It makes it harder for it to break loose. And you just get a higher potential for buildup to occur. So, not an outrageous level of it out there in the 3034. My camera scraped a path right down the middle of the flow line. So, it's a line that it wouldn't hurt to clean it, but it's not an outrageous, nightmarish level of grease buildup. The level that's in here right now would have very little bearing on functionality. It would help to exacerbate or cause something to block more effectively, something that was already going to block the line or very, very close to it, but not the kind that's going to go causing problems all on its own. It's more concerning when I get a continuous layer of it that occupies the full width of the flow line and my camera's not touching anything but grease the entire way out. Alright, and I just push back to the foundation wall here. Everything from this point on is all exposed piping in the crawl space. The home inspector looks for leaks and whatnot down there. I focus on everything that's underground you need a camera for. And no settling problems going back to the foundation wall. A very nicely graded sewer line, no settling issues whatsoever, no bellies, offset joints, anything of the sort. Some light grease buildup. Again, wouldn't hurt to clean it, but it's not at a point where I would recommend it out of the necessity to clean it. It's just not at that point. So the big thing is just build good habits in it, not putting cooking oil and grease down the line. Kind of the rule I tell most people to live by that mitigates most everything. Anything meaningful really is if you've got enough grease or oil on your pans. This is when the pans are hot or warm, when stuff is still liquid. If there's enough on there that if you turn that pan sideways and it runs off the pan in beads or worse, that's when you want to do something about it. You know, let it cool down, wipe it out with a paper towel or scrape it off into a garbage can after it's cooled. You know, when still in a hot or liquid state, you can pour it into something that can handle high heat, like a metal coffee can. A lot of people have different things they put it into. You don't want to go pouring that into a garbage can. It'll melt a hole through it, so you got to make sure things are cooled down or it goes into something that's can handle high temp. But thin little coating of PAM spray, not a big deal. Hot water and soap handles that, and if you know that some level of it has gotten down the line, keep your hot water running for about a solid minute after that last dish was scrubbed off. That helps to ensure that anything that did get down line stays melted and emulsified until it gets out to the main lateral, or at least a good distance from the house. The farther and farther issues get from the home, the least likely they are to result in a full-on backup, just because it puts a lot of leeway between the house and that spot. You know, for instance, if a blockage occurs out at 40 feet versus right up next to the home, the blockage at 40 feet stands a much better chance at breaking loose on its own because of the head pressure that will develop behind it. You've got a lot of leeway there for water to build up and break things loose, whereas if that happens at, you know, up close to the home, you don't have that same advantage. So anyway, that's the PSA for the day on grease buildup. This line is actually quite light duty. My camera scraped most everything meaningful out of the flow line. So sewer line is functioning properly at this time. Good flow. All the pipe is in good condition.